Space above Earth orbit, Station Galactic, Prime the Galactic. Empire had come with pride. Their warships floated like giant beasts above Earth, sharp edges, glowing engines. Golden plating G-ship designed not just for battle, but for showing power. Thousands of Galactic soldiers stood on the viewing deck of their flagship. Big screens showed Earth below, green, silent. No response, said Commander Vorex, his long fingers tapping the console. Nothing at all? Asked General Tharn, the old leader with silver skin and sharp red eyes. Not even a radio wave. They have not answered any of our signals. Their satellites are cold. Their cities are dark. Tharn laughed. The soldiers around him joined. So this is the mighty Earth? So much talk in the shadows of the galaxy. We thought they were hiding great weapons, but they are hiding nothing. More laughter filled the room. Vorex frowned just a little. He looked again at the silent planet below. There was something strange about the silence. Too perfect. It's too empty. But he stayed quiet, inside a small bunker, deep underground. Somewhere under Alaska, General Reyes stood in the dark room. No windows. Only screens showing the Galactic fleet above. She did not smile. Let them laugh, she said to her team. We've waited 30 years for this. Engineers and soldiers worked quietly around her. One by one, systems were coming online. Ancient. Computers woke from deep sleep. Codes ran across the screens in green lines. A warning flashed. Enemy orbital presence confirmed. The AI named Obsidian spoke. Orders, General? Reyes answered with one word. Wait. Back on the Galactic flagship, the Galactic soldiers began a celebration. They drank purple liquids. Music played. On the screen, Earth stayed quiet. Tharn raised his golden cup high. This planet is weak. No warships, no defenses, no voice. He looked straight into the camera. To any human still alive, your time is over. The Galactic Empire now claims your world. Just then, the lights flickered. One screen turned black, then another. The room went silent. A new signal appeared, one no one recognized. It was coming from an old satellite. When the Galactic thought was junk, it was now active. A robotic voice spoke from it, clear, slow, human. Observe carefully. This silence hides a storm. The message played 3 times. Then the satellite exploded into dust. On its own, Commander Vorex felt his stomach twist. He stared at the black screens. That wasn't an accident, he said. General Tharn looked confused. They are bluffing, Vorex. Didn't answer. He noticed something else. Some of their smaller scout ships had lost connection, sir, he said carefully. Should we send landing teams? Yes, take 10 dropships. I want them on the ground in 10 minutes. Vorex nodded, but the worry stayed in his eyes. Earth, New York City ruins does. Blew through empty streets. Broken buildings stood like skeletons. Cars rusted. Shops empty. The Galactic troops landed here first. Our dropships touched the ground with grace. The soldiers stepped out, scanning everything. Dead Planet 1 said. No signs of life, said another. But then they noticed something. The buildings were not looted. There were no broken windows. The cars still had keys. There were no burn marks. Why does this feel ... clean? Asked a soldier. Then they heard it. A soft hum, deep under the street, like machines breathing. One Galactic soldier knelt and placed his hand on the ground. It's warm. Suddenly a loud mechanical click echoed through the city, then silence. Again, in the command center, under Alaska General Reyes. Watched, she could see the alien soldiers moving. She tapped her earpiece. Activate level 1 response. The AI replied, confirmed. Across the world, deep underground, systems began waking, old engines powered on, gates opened under ice, sand and water, but nothing came out yet. They were waiting. Back in orbit, Commander Vorex received a warning, sir. Dropship 4 just went offline. What happened? No explosion, no sound. It just vanished. Another ship followed, and a third. Tharn stood frozen. This is impossible. Vorex turned to him slowly. No, sir. This is Earth. In space? On the edge of Earth's shadow, a small object moved. It had no engine flame, no signal. Just a long black body like a spear. The Galdic didn't see it yet. It had been hiding now. It was waking. Its name was Silent Judger's first true warship. It had no crew. It didn't need one. Inside, old codes began to run. One red light. Blinked target. Hostile fleet detected awaiting order. Strike or observe. General Reyes stood still. She watched the screens. She looked up and spoke. Not to her people, but to the aliens above. Let them look down and laugh, the longer they stare. Smiled for the first time, the closer death gets. New York City Galactic soldiers moved through the quiet streets. Their boots made soft thuds on broken roads. Skyscrapers rose above them, silent and still. Everything looked dead. Too clean, whispered one Galdic officer. Hiss. Scanner blinked green, no life. No movement, no weapons. They passed old human vehicles and dusty cafes. But there were no signs of war, no blood, no burning, no broken walls. It was like the humans had just walked away and left everything. Ready? One soldier laughed. They ran like insects, afraid of us. But the officer didn't laugh. There's something wrong here. Above the earth, Galdic Command Ship Commander Vorex watched from the main screen. The live feed from the troops on Earth showed no threat. Still, he felt cold inside. He walked. Up to General Tharn, sir. We should pause ground operations. Tharn turned sharply. What for? They are broken. There is no army left here. Vorex spoke carefully. What if this silence is not weakness? What if it's part of their defense? Tharn grinned. Vorex, you fear shadows. This planet is nothing. He turned to the bridge crew. Begin scanning deeper. I want a full planet readout. The scanner started to dig, but they didn't find ruins. They found layers of metal and heat, buried deep. Underground Earth's hidden bunker. Alasko General. Reyes stood with her officers. One of the engineers walked over quickly. Ma'am, they've started deep scans. Reyes nodded. Let them. The AI Obsidian spoke in a calm voice. Shall we begin pre-launch sequence? Reyes didn't answer yet. She stared at a large screen showing the Earth map. Several red dots blinked. They were Galdic landing parties. She pressed a button. Open. City protocols. Activate ground stage. The engineer hesitated. That means they'll know, yes, Reyes said. But by then, it will be too late. New York Surface Team Echo 7, the Galdic officer scanned the street again. Still nothing, but then the ground shook. Just slightly, the street beneath them gave off a low vibration, like something massive was turning far below. Suddenly one of the buildings to their left, open walls split like a puzzle. Inside was not a home. It was a metal tunnel, glowing blue. What is that? One soldier shouted. Before they could react, the tunnel lit up, and they heard a mechanical hum growing louder. Then the building sealed shut again. But now one Galdic soldier was missing. No one saw him taken. On the flagship Orbit Commander, a bridge officer yelled, We just lost contact with Eco 7. Vorex rushed to the panel. Play back the last 30 seconds. The screen showed the glowing tunnel, then static. No explosion, just gone, the technician said. Vorex looked. At Tharn, we need to pull back our teams now. Tharn was still smiling. I told you, Commander, you fear too much. But this isn't natural, Vorex snapped. These cities were never dead. They were traps. Underground Earth, AI control, room inside a control room buried under Nevada. Engineers sat watching code flow across screens. One said quietly, Stage 1, complete. Obsidian AI's voice echoed calmly. Subsurface movement detected. Enemy response, minimal. Proceed to partial exposure of weapons grid. Reyes tapped her earpiece. Start opening the outer hatches. Across the planet, old cities began to move, not fall apart move. Hidden doors inside buildings opened. Sidewalks shifted. Statues turned to reveal cannon barrels. Old stadiums split to show missile silos beneath. It had all been fake. The whole city a costume. Earth had been building war machines right beneath its skin. On the ground, Paris Outpost and other Galactic team watched in horror as the Eiffel Tower cracked in half and slowly lowered into the earth. In its place rose a smooth black tower, no windows, no lights. But the scanner said it was alive. The officer whispered, "This isn't a city, it's a weapon." Then the signal cut off. Commander Vorex stood frozen. "All of their cities," he said quietly. "They weren't abandoned. They were hidden weapons platforms." General Tharn finally looked worried. He turned toward the window, watching Earth. "We still have the advantage," he said. "Their ships are not flying." Vorex shook his head. "No, not yet." Pacific Ocean, deep below, a massive rumble shook the ocean floor. A metal gate the size of a mountain opened slowly. From it, something rose black, smooth, silent. It looked like a submarine, but too large. It had no heat, no radio signal. Only one thing appeared on the Galactic sensors. Object detected, unknown class, no data. Broke the water surface without a splash and began to float. Straight toward the sky, in Earth's bunker. Reyes watched the screen. The black ship rose without flame. No engine trail, no sound. "Just rising," she whispered. "Let them think this is our only one." Behind her, on another screen, 7 more hangar doors began to open. Galactic bridge. Alarm bells rang. Unknown craft approaching orbit. A Galactic crewman shouted. Terran gasped, stepping back. "What ship is that? Who built it?" Oryx didn't answer. His eyes were wide, his voice low. "Earth did." Final scene. Silence in space. The black ship floated into orbit. It faced the Galactic fleet, but it didn't fire. It simply hovered. And then, the first time, it spoke in a deep voice that echoed across all channels. "Test passed.
Observation over."
Earth returns." Orbit Galactic command ship Threxelon. All was no longer quiet. The Galactic fleet floated above Earth. But the mood inside their command ship had changed. There were no more jokes, no more drinks, no more laughter. They watched the silent black ship, now hovering in orbit. No heat, no visible weapons. Yet every scanner screamed one word: danger. Commander Vorex stood still, eyes locked on the screen. General Tharn spoke softly. "It hasn't fired." Vorex nodded. Yet a soft alarm beeped. A new signal flashed across the screen. "Deep. Seismic activity detected. Location: Antarctica." Tharn leaned forward. "What now?" Earth, Antarctica, under the ice. The frozen wind howled. But below the surface, something ancient had awakened. For years, a structure had slept under the ice, a hangar the size of a city, buried beneath kilometers of snow and rock. Now, the ground shook, ice cracked like glass. Great plates split apart. The sky above was still gray. But now a red light glowed from beneath the snow. A circular hatch, long hidden, opened slowly. Hot steam shot out, and from the deep something began to rise. Underground Control Center. Earth AI Command, Core Obsidian AI reported calmly. Antarctica Hangar 1, now opening. Launch in 4 minutes. Weapon system online? General Reyes stood in front of a large display showing the Earth's globe. Young officer asked, "Should we inform the fleet?" Reyes shook her head. "No, let them watch. Let them wonder." Orbit Galactic fleet. The fleet picked up the movement. Huge sensors on their ships tried to scan through the thick ice storm. Something blocked them. Suddenly, a blurry object appeared on their screens. One of the Galactic techs shouted, "Unknown." Signature, rising from Earth's south pole. Size, unknown. Possibly a dreadnought. Impossible, Thorne whispered. A ship that size could not be hidden, could not be real. But it was real, and it was rising fast from Antarctica. The monster ship appears, breaking through the last layer of ice. The warship emerged. Its body was dark gray with red lines pulsing across its surface like veins. It made no sound. Its engines did not burn. It rose slowly, calmly, like it had all the time in the world. One Goldic officer watching the live satellite feed dropped his scanner. The label read, Unknown class technology level. Beyond Galdic scale, inside the ship, no crew there were. No pilots, no soldiers, no life inside the ship, only machines, and an AI brain older than most stars. On the front of the ship, glowing letters lit. Up. Silent Judge. Unit to Galdic flagship panic begins. Another one, Vorex said softly. There's more. Tharn backed away from the screen. How? This planet was scanned. We found nothing. Vorex turned to him, because they wanted us to find nothing. Earth didn't build weapons to be seen. They built weapons to be used. When no one expected, suddenly the Silent Judge Unit 2 stopped in orbit. It rotated slowly, and then it opened. Weapon ports unfold. Hundreds of panels on the ship's surface slid open. No fire, no missiles. Just clean, perfect movement. Long, dark barrels extended from under the armor. Some glowed blue. Others had no glowage, strange alien designs. The Galdic fleet locked all sensors on the warship. Targeting systems unable to lock, said one officer. The ship is reflecting signals. Vorex stared in horror. This is not human design, this is hybrid. General Rhea's Earth bunker. She watched as her weapons rose above the Earth. She whispered,
What?
Let's see how much they've learned. Obsidian. AI asked, Do we engage? Rhea smiled coldly. Fire a warning shot. In orbit, silence breaks. One of the Silent Judge's front cannons moved. It didn't glow. It didn't charge. It just opened. A thin beam of light shot out. It touched one Galdic warship's side, and instantly no sound. No fire. The warship shut down. All systems offline. It floated lifeless. Crew trapped. Alarms screamed on Galdic ships. Tharn shouted,
How was it?
A weapon. There was no blast, Vorex answered. Yes, and it was precise. Earth sends a message. Every Galdic ship's screen flickered. A human. Face appeared. General Reyes. She said 5 words. This was your first warning. Then the screen cut to black. Gal DEK command. Fear spreads one by one. The captains of other ships began shouting on open comms. We need to retreat. We were never in control. These humans. They planned this, Patharn, his pride. Wounded, shouted back. No retreat. We are Galdic. We face no one. Commander Vorex stared down at Earth. His voice was calm, but dark. Then you'll die, General, not in battle, but in silence. Back on Earth across the planet, more hangars began to open. In the Amazon, under the sea, beneath deserts, all had been hidden for years. All were now rising. Earth had waited. Now it would speak, and the galaxy would listen. Orbit. Galdic flagship. Threxelon. The silence on the bridge was no longer peaceful. It was fear. Below them, Earth was no longer a quiet, weak world. Hangars had opened. Strange ships had risen. Ancient war machines now hovered in the sky, all silent, but ready. One Galdic officer whispered, What else are they hiding? Commander Vorex stared at the growing fleet below. We still don't know where they built all this, he said. We still don't know how they kept it hidden. Then a new signal appeared, but it wasn't coming from Earth. It was coming from deep space, signal source. A satellite older than any nation, a small satellite, black and rusted, drifted far beyond Earth's orbit. It looked broken like space. Junk, but it went on, and began to broadcast. The message was in a strange, deep human voice, to the stars that watch. We warned you once, long ago. You called us primitive. Then you left. Now you return, expecting silence. We do not forget, signal repeated, and every Galdic ship received it. General Tharn was pale now, his voice cracked. What? That mean, Vorex answered. It means this war started long before we got here. Earth's secret bunker archive room. General Reyes stood in a dark hallway beneath the AI command center. She stepped into a room filled with old screens, dusty books, and strange machines. Behind her, a young soldier followed. "Ma'am, the Galdic fleet is panicking. Should we press the attack?" Reyes didn't answer yet. She walked to a large screen. It showed Earth. An old black and white video began to play. A Galdic scout ship. From 500 years ago, the same empire, the same symbols. "They came once before," Reyes said. "They scanned us, laughed, left us alone, but we knew they'd return." She pointed to another screen showing early blueprints of the Silent Judge. "Ships we began building the day they left." Flashback, year 2074. Earth. A Galdic scout ship entered Earth's system. It was small, unmanned, but fast. It scanned the surface, recorded radio signals, watched military activity. It stayed for only 2 hours, then left. But Earth saw it, and it understood what it meant. That year, humans began a secret plan. Project Echo. A long plan, a quiet plan to create weapons so advanced no one would believe they existed, to build cities with fake ruins hiding living metal, to turn Earth into a trap. Back to present. Earth Orbit 3 Silent. Judge ships now floated in the sky, each different in design, each terrifying. One had long rotating arms. One had no visible surface at all, just pure black, and one was wrapped in strange glowing rings. They did not fire, they just waited and watched. Galdi. E.K. Fleet breaking apart, panic spread through the Galdic warships, captains argued. Orders clashed. Smaller ships began pulling back. "They're not attacking us," one said. "Maybe they don't want war." "No," shouted another. "They're waiting for us to make a mistake." On the flagship, Tharn gripped the rail tightly. "A signal," he ordered. To their leader, "Request a truce." Vorex turned, surprised. "You want peace?" Tharn growled, "No, I want time." Earth. General Reyes responds. The Galdic message came through. It was filled with false respect. "Humans of Earth, we misunderstood. We offer peace. Let us begin talks." Reyes chuckled softly. She replied with one line. "Talks come after truth. Reveal your hidden weapon." The message shocked the Galdic. "How does she know?" Tharn whispered. Vorex stepped forward. "She knows because she's playing a deeper game than we are. Deep in Galdic hold, forbidden cargo hidden inside." A Galdic dreadnought was something the Empire had not revealed, not even to most of its own officers. A biodash weapon, not created by the Galdic, but stolen from another race, a living creature in stasis. A being made of smoke and bone, a destroyer of worlds. Its name was Krathwin, and it was waking up Earth. "AI Obsidian detects it. Warning," said the AI. Energy signal detected inside. "Enemy fleet. Class. Unknown. Status. Active." General Reyes turned serious. "They're preparing to use it," she said. "Launch drone probes now." Small, Earth-made drones launched from the Silent Judge ships. They didn't attack. They flew past the Galdic ships and scanned everything. Inside the Galdic dreadnought, they saw Krathun's chamber, and it looked back. Krathun speaks for the first time inside its cold prison. The creature opened one eye. It saw the humans again. It remembered Earth. It smiled. A whisper echoed across human and Galdic comes alike. "Still alive? Are you good? I owe you screams?" General Reyes stared at the screen. For the first time, she looked. Worried, not afraid, just focused. "Begin Protocol Nova," she said. "Bring out the shield ship." Earth Orbit Galdic Dreadnought Olzon, inside the largest Galdic ship. The monster Krathwan slowly opened its second eye. It looked around with hunger. This was not the first time it had awakened. It remembered the stars, the screams, and Earth. The Galdic scientists near its stasis pod backed away in fear. "This thing, it's not safe anymore," one whispered, but the command had already been given. General Tharn had bet everything on the monster. "Release it," Tharn ordered coldly. "But, sir, release it." Now, Earth's AI Command Core Obsidian, online Obsidian AI, read the data from the drones. Krathuan's power level was rising. The dreadnought shielding was weakening. Time was running out. General Reyes stood in front of the world map. Crossed the screen. Earth's ancient hangar zones lit up. Then one special mark began to blink. Omega Vault 9 location, Pacific Ocean Trench. Reyes spoke calmly. Open the trench vault. Bring up the shield ship. Under the ocean, Omega Vault 9, far beneath the waves, deeper than submarines could reach, rested something huge. For 400 years, it had been sleeping, buried under layers of rock and pressure. Now, the ground shook. The trench split. Bubbles rose, and the water above turned dark. Then, slowly, a shape came into view, around wide, massive plates of living metal. Not a ship designed to fly, not a ship designed to destroy. A shield ship. One. Built for one reason only, two trap monsters. Galactic. Fleet confusion spreads. Galactic ships scanned the new rising object from Earth. "What is that?" asked one officer. "No weapons, no engines. No comes." Tharn stared hard. "A shield." Vorex whispered, "But shields don't rise from the sea. That's not a wall. That's a cage." The Galactic scientist screamed over comes Krathuan, is breaking containment. "We can't stop it." Then the monster spoke again. "Your minds are small. You think metal can hold me? I was born before stars. Inside the shield ship, empty there. Were no pilots, no crew, only thick black walls and a red pulsing core at the center. The walls began to glow, forming energy layers that could hold not just ships, but living horrors. It activated a containment field as large as a city. In orbit, Krathuan escapes the dreadnought Olsen, began to crack. One of its engines exploded. A strange black mist leaked into space and formed a shape. A shape. With many arms and no face, Krathuan was free. The other Galactic ships started moving back in panic. One shouted, "Why did we ever bring that thing? It doesn't follow orders." Another screamed, "It's looking at us." Krathuan turns toward Earth. Monster floated in orbit now, between Earth and the fleet, and it smiled. "I will begin with the blue planet. Then the liars who woke me." It moved fast, faster than light. Straight toward Earth. Shield ship activates as Krathuan approached the atmosphere. The giant floating shield ship rose from the ocean. It's locked into place. Its walls glowed bright red. Then they closed like a giant dome catching a falling star. Krathuan hit the shield. Boom! Lightning burst from the air. The sea boiled beneath. The skies turned white, but the shield held inside. Krathuan screamed, "What is this? You cannot trap me." But it was trapped. General Reyes spoke over broadcaster. Voice echoed through every Galactic ship. "This shield was never built to protect Earth. It was built to hold the monsters you left behind. And now we're sending it back to you." Shield. Ship Final Protocol Obsidian. AI activated the final code. Protocol returned to sender. The shield ship rose higher, carrying Krathuan inside its glowing dome at the edge of orbit. Booster plates opened underneath, and then NIT launched. Not a missile, not a bomb, but a sealed monster. Now on its way toward the Galdek's own capital. System.Gal DEK flagship pure chaos, no? Tharn screamed. "Destroy it. Shoot it down." But it was too late. The shield ship flew faster than anything in Galactic memoria. Silent judgment. Heading straight home, Commander Vorex watched silently his. The voice was quiet. "They never built weapons to fight. They built traps. They knew we'd return. They knew we'd cheat, and they planned. For all of it." Earth's hangars, more doors openings, the monster left orbit. New signals came from Earth. Even more hangar doors began to rise. Africa, Siberia, the moon, each with ships, each with unknown tech, not a fleet for defense. Fleet for answering betrayal. GeneralReyes.com, but cold she walked. Back to her main screen. Looked straight into the camera now, sending her image to the Galactic. "High Command." She spoke 6 words. "We were." silent, not sleeping. Deep space, en route to Galactic. Core system, the shield ship massive. Glowing, unstoppable, moved like a comet through the stars. Inside it, the creature Cthulhu screamed and thrashed. But the walls held firm. It was trapped, and now it was being sent home. Galactic, High Command Planet, HFY Galactic. Emperor watched the live broadcast from orbit. His golden skin faded pale. "What is that ship?" he asked quietly. A trembling advisor replied, "It is ours now, a gift from Earth." The Emperor's fists clenched. "Recall the flagship. Send it to Earth. Show them we are not weak." Galactic flagship Vercon, the pride of the Empire, it was 5 times larger than any other Galactic ship, covered in armor, loaded with weapons, powerful enough to crack planets. The Vercon, and had never been used in a real war, until now. Inside its command center, Captain Relin, known as the Butcher of Suns, smiled. "Set course for Earth. Maximum burn. I want them to see us coming." Earth orbit, silent judges, watching 3 of Earth's silent judge. Ships hovered above the planet like ancient guardians. They didn't move, they didn't blink, but they watched, and they waited. Inside Earth, AI command. General Reyes received the alert. New contact. Galactic signature. Capital class vessel inbound. One officer gasped. "They're sending their flagship." Reyes didn't flinch. "Then we send ours." Earth black site, codenamed Ghost Vault Thunder, the Sahara Desert hidden beneath layers of dust and heat, was a place not even most humans knew existed. It had no doors, no runways, only silence. But deep below, something waited. Not a weapon, not a warship, something else at AI. Obsidian Online activate Ghost Vault. Preparing launch sequence for Wraith-class vessel 001. The command room shook. A circular platform opened, revealing black stone and silver panels. From it, a long, slender ship began to rise. No markings, no windows, no visible weapons. Its name was simple: Phantom. Orbit 1 judge ship moves. One of the silent judges turned slightly, making space. The Phantom rose between them, quiet and smooth like a shadow. It made no sound. No signal. It didn't even appear on radar, one officer whispered. "It's not showing on our own scans." General Reyes replied, "Good. That's the point." Galactic flagship, approaching Earthrelon, stood with pride as the blue planet came into view. "There it is," he said. "Weak, small, loud." One of his crew frowned. "Sir, we've lost visual on their fleet." "Where did they go?" Relin laughed. "They ran." Then all lights flickered. The ship's power dropped for 0.7 seconds, barely enough to notice, but deep inside, something had already entered. The Phantom, not a ship. A ghost hit didn't fire. It didn't crash. It passed through the flagship's outer hull like smoke through air, and once inside, it became death. Flagship interior crew screams one by one. Systems shut down, not destroyed. Erased. Gravity vanished. Engines froze. Computers wrote themselves in an ancient Earth language no Galactic could read. Then the lights died. Every crew member heard a voice inside their heads. "You entered our orbit. We entered your mind." Galactic High Command lost signal back on Thraxa. The Emperor watched the feed turn to static. "No signal from Vercan," his officers cried. "No readings. No trace." "Gone," someone whispered, like it was never there. Orbit, a message left behind? As the Galactic flagship disappeared, a single signal echoed across space. A whisper, a warning. "Don't send your pride. We will take it. Don't send your fear. We already smell it." General Reyes calm as ever she watched the signal end. Her officers sat in silence. One spoke softly. "Did we just delete their strongest ship?" Reyes looked out the window. "No. We just reminded them we built this world for silence, not peace." Galactic Council meeting, chaos reigns, arguments exploded. Half of the council wanted to retreat. The others screamed for revenge. The Emperor slammed the table. "No more tricks. We attack with full force. Send the Iron Curtain fleet. One voice in the corner asked, "But what if they're not done yet?" No one answered. Earth's moon final hangar begins to open away from Earth. On its silent moon, something stirred. A last hangar door, one that had never opened. Not in centuries. It was built into the rock. No lights, no markings. Until now, the door slid back, dust flew into space, and from the shadows, something moved. Not a ship, not a weapon, something alive. The moon hid in Vault Zero. There was no light, no heat, only dust and rock. For centuries, this vault was locked behind lunar stone. No satellite had ever found it. No human had spoken of it. Even Earth's own commanders had forgotten it. But now, it was open, and something ancient stepped out. Not a machine, not a drone, not metal. It was alive. Earth, AI. Obsidian log class red warning object has left Moon Vault Zero biological pattern. Unknown threat level, maximum. Orders, do not enge, age general. Reyes stood frozen as the alert blinked across every screen in command. She narrowed her eyes. It woke up. By itself. An AI voice answered, cold and flat. It sensed war. The creature, name erased from files it, stood over 20 feet tall. Its body looked like stone, but it moved like a shadow. No eyes, no mouth, but it felt everything once. Long ago, humans had given it a name. Then they buried that name deep in code, because even remembering it was dangerous now. It had returned, and it was walking no. It was floating, twoting Dord, Gaul. DEK, Iron Curtain Fleet. 300 ships, bound the Emperor had sent everything, every warship, every scout, every dreadnought. A wall of fire, in metal, moving fast, heading straight for Earth. They want to end this, said one Earth officer. They think they can overwhelm us. Reyes didn't blink. Then we let the Forgotten One greet them. Moon orbit, first contact, the creature rose slowly from the lunar surface. No sound. No engine trail. The Galactic fleet saw it on their long-range scans. What is that? One shouted, a rock? A ship? A sensor officer whispered. It's looking at us. The Galactic dreadnoughts powered up their weapons, but before they could fire, the creature vanished and reappeared inside their formation. Iron Curtain. Fleet, chaos begins. One cruiser. Turned to dust instantly. Another lost gravity and spun apart. No attack was seen. No energy detected. Only death, ship screamed overcomes. It's inside us. It's not physical. It's rewriting reality. And then one final message. It knows us. Back on Earth, General Reyes Wachushi stood silent as Earth's systems tracked. The creature's movements, every sensor failed to lock on. It moved between space and something else, one scientist said. It's breaking physics. Reyes finally spoke. We didn't bury it because we feared it would hurt us. She turned. We buried it because it obeyed only one rule: end the war. No matter the cost. Galactic flagship Relentless Dawn, the new Galactic fleet commander. Admiral Zalith stared at the battle unfolding. I want every cannon online, she shouted. Crush it. But when the command was given, the ship's lights dimmed, and the creature appeared on the viewing screen. Without entering the ship, it tilted its head. The screen cracked. Everyone on the bridge began to bleed from their eyes. Zalith dropped to her knees, whispering it seized time. Earth's silent judge ships begin to move again, the remaining three silent. Judges activated for the first time together. Obsidian AI gave a rare full system message. Judgment protocol. Begin. Align. For warform shift, the ships changed shape. Panels moved. Cores expanded. They were no longer just ships. They became beings. Towering forms that hummed with old power. The same kind of power the moon creature used. Not human, not alien. Something older, something designed. For the end, in orbit, 4 titans stand together. The 3 silent judges, and the creature from the moon, facing the last of the Galactic Iron Curtain fleet, across open space. Only silence remained. Gal Deck Council, final transmission received one. Last message arrived from the fleet. No video, no sound, just text. Earth does not build ships, they build warnings. And we did not listen. The council chamber on Theraxa fell silent. Even the Emperor said nothing. For the first time in Galactic history, they understood fear. Earth Rhea sends one final message broadcasted across every Galactic. Frequency simple, cold, final. We are not coming for war, but if you come again, we won't send ships. We'll send what we forgot. Near Earth orbit, the final stand. Battlefield was quiet. Galactic ships floated in fear. Earth's monsters, 3 silent judges, and the moon-born beings stood. Like statues of judgment, the stars once full of Galactic power now felt empty. Commander Vorax, watching from his damaged cruiser, whispered, "They didn't build weapons, they built endings." Galactic Emperor's final move on the throne world Theraxa, the Emperor stood. "Enough," he growled. "Earth wants silence. We will end it all." He turned to his engineers. "Prepare the Starburner."
Yes.
Gasps filled the command hall. "That weapon, it will kill billions." The Emperor's voice was cold. "So will Earth, if we do nothing." Earth's AI command Obsidian predicts Duma. Obsidian calculated the Starburner weapons activation it would reach Earth in minutes. Even the silent judges could not stop it once launched, but then a different signal appeared. A location not from the Galactic, not from Earth, from the creature itself. It pointed to deep space, beyond any known system. Reyes frowned.
What's there?
Obsidian replied. Origin. Inside Earth's moon-born creature, the being, still nameless, drifted closer to Earth. Its skin glowed faintly. Its thoughts echoed across space not as words, but as emotion. Pain. Duty. A memory of something older than both Earth and the Galdiek. It reached out and opened a gate. A tier in space. Not hyperspace, not warp. Something else. Vorax seized the gate from his cruiser. Commander Vorax saw the impossible. "What is it doing?" his crew asked. He stood slowly, "I think. It's giving Earth a way out, General." Reyes makes the choice. All screens now pointed to the gate. One-time chance. Obsidian explained. Gate will only remain open for 120 seconds. Destination. Origin of ancient technology. Survival probability. 6%. One officer panicked. 6%. That's suicide. Reyes raised her voice. "No, that's hope." She turned to Earth's fleet, what remained of it. All ships. "All judges, follow it. The Galdic want war. Let them have the silence they fear." Earth's last fleet enters the gate one by one. Earth's warships move toward the gate. But before entering, Reyes sent one final message. "You showed us your warships. We showed you our graves. Now we show you our past." Then she stepped into the unknown. Galdic fires the Starburner. Emperor screamed. "Now." The Starburner launched pure solar death. A wave of fire the size of a planet, it raced across space toward Earth. But when it arrived, Earth was gone. Only ruins remained. Silence. No ships. No sound. No answers. Just absence. Galactic Council, divided and scared. Some believed Earth had been destroyed. Others believed it had escaped. And one quiet voice, an old scientist, whispered, "They didn't run. They returned home. Somewhere we can't follow." The Emperor shouted, "We'll find them." But nobody moved, because they all felt it now. The silence wasn't weakness. It was a warning. Years later, across the stars, the Galdic stopped expanding. Other species whispered Earth's name, never too loudly. No one dared search for them. No. One dared speak of the judges, the moon creature, or the ghost ship. They were not forgotten. They were avoided. Far beyond known space. A new dawn inside, a dark system with no sun. A fleet hovered. Earth's final fleet, surrounded by strange planets. Odd energy, and forgotten ruins. The judges stood tall. The moon creature sat in silence, and in the middle, General Reyes stepped onto the surface of an ancient world, a place built before history. Obsidian AI whispered, "Welcome back. Humanity has returned to its origin." Final log Reyes' voice recording. They thought silence was weakness. They thought war was power. We showed them our silence was preparation. We didn't want this war, but we ended it the only way we knew, not with weapons, with truth. And now, we rebuild. End title.